Hey everybody, welcome back to Couch Potato. It's your girl Sweet Potato, and today we're talking about T.I. Friends and Family Hustle. So yeah, let's go ahead on and get into it. I got my little notes. I got real notes this time, y'all, because a lot had happened. Who I want to start with? Okay, quick. So Monica, last week we found out that Monica had been in the same record deal since she was like 14 years old or whatever, and so she's finally out of it. So now she's taking the route of doing everything independent. So on this episode, we hear a snippet of a song that she's working on. She's in the studio with Polo the Don, which we all know Polo the Don. He had you know how all the producers kind of go through a wave, or they have their own little window of time where everybody using their beats. Polo the Don time for that was kind of like late 2000s, so kind of like between 2006 to 2010 or something. He did a lot of work with Carrie Hilson and stuff like that. And yeah, come and find out they cousins, but that's not even like surprising to me, because it's kind of like when you from a big small city, like I'm from Baton Rouge, is a big small city. Other people who people know probably gonna wind up to be your cousin or your family member. So I'm not surprised. And Monica, she just know everybody, probably kin to everybody. They ain't no big deal. They kind of discussed like what avenue of music that she was gonna be making, and because she was saying like in the industry they tell you like once you have kids and stuff like that, you won't be perceived as sexy anymore or whatever. So, and to her, that don't really make sense, and in real life it doesn't make sense, because that's how you have multiple kids. If you know what I'm saying, if that's the case, everybody would have one child and they wouldn't be perceived as sexy no more. Nobody would be banging a box out no more to make more babies. But whatever. And Polo was like, listen, I ain't trying to, you my little cousin, I'm not trying to hear nothing about this sexy music, but I feel you. But at the end of the day, they decide we just gonna make some popping music. So all right, moving on, let's talk about LaToya Luckett. So LaToya meets up with a friend, and she was saying that whenever she and her husband were in Dallas, which is where they just moved from, whenever they were in Dallas, she was having some pains or whatever. Well, I'm sorry. She started having the pains at her housewarming party last week, and they showed us a clip from that. But typically she was like, she'll have them kind of pains, but they'll go away. And whenever you're pregnant, you really do have pain like in your joints, like lower abdomen, like towards your hip. You do start getting pains because all that muscle is stretching out to make room for the baby and stuff. And then they flew to Dallas to go see, spend some time with his daughter. Well, whenever they got there, the pain still hadn't subsided. And it was so bad that she had to end up going to the hospital. And they told her that she was having early contractions, so they ran some tests and all of that stuff. Now, in that time, while she was at the hospital, her husband was there with her, but then he left because it was the day before his daughter was going to school. So he took her back to school shopping. And then by the time he came back, they had already came in with the results saying that she wasn't in labor, that she was okay, and the baby was okay and everything like that. But she really felt some type of way because like for so long she's been doing stuff by herself, and now she feels like, well, I have a husband who I feel like I should be able to lean on, but he not here whenever I need him to be here. But the friend was like, well, have you talked to him about it? And she was like, no, I haven't. I just feel like I haven't found an appropriate time to tell him that, I'm kind of like still upset and impressed about it. So then in another scene, Tommy's parents, they come to town to bring his daughter, for a visit or whatever. And while they sitting there, the mama really, she was dropping knowledge. Like, they've been together for like 30 years or whatever. And just talking about, working, like, marriage is hard work. Like, you working through different things or whatever. And, they kind of get into the conversation of how, you gotta be able to communicate because you learning this person. And the thing about humans in general is this: we always evolving, we're always changing. So the person that you are today might not be the same person that you are next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. So with that being said, marriages work because it's two people who are constantly evolving. So that means your relationship has to constantly evolve. It has to constantly change. It has to constantly grow. And if it doesn't, if it becomes stagnated or one person is growing faster than the other, then you tend to have tension. And that's what the parents were trying to, like, get them to understand. And Latoya was telling Tommy, well, she was telling them, like, whenever Tommy has something to say and he has to make a point, he's like, let me talk, don't interrupt me, and just listen to what I have to say. And she was like, she gives him that respect just because that's her husband, but also because she wants to hear what he has to say. She wants to be able to listen to him. But she was like, whenever it's her turn to talk, he be acting like she doing too much. She grabbing the air and blah, blah, blah. And then he get up and walk off. Y'all, when I tell y'all I felt that, now, my husband, he ain't the type that's going to tell me, like, not to ever interrupt him while he talking. But for the most part, that's the thing. Like, don't interrupt while I'm, talking and trying to make my point or whatever like that. You going to have your time to speak. But see, my husband, like, I could tell when he be shut down. Because you have been said a whole soliloquy and then he going to give you a okay. And that make you even more mad. So I feel where she was coming from. And literally in that moment, he got up and walked away. And I'm just like, oh, fam, y'all going to have to work on this. Later in the episode for their last scene, they was in the bed and she brought up the fact that she was hurt by the fact that he wasn't there for her or whatever. And she earlier had said that in 2005 she was pregnant and she had a miscarriage. So when she had to go to the hospital, like, she was really freaked out and scared, and she had to go through that by herself. And he apologized or whatever. He was like, I'm still growing and trying to learn how to balance between being a good father to my daughter and being a husband to you, being there for you, and all of that type of stuff. And he was just like, don't hold all this stuff in no more. Like, when something happens, like, just tell me or whatever. And sometimes that's easier said than done. And sometimes we'll take that at face value and just tell you every single thing. But then you'll be saying that we nagging and all of that. But you just got to find your footing in a relationship. But that was it for that. Now, let's get to T.I. and Tiny and their family. So, okay, Messiah, he is the oldest son. He is getting ready to go to college, which is amazing. We found that out last week. Now, in this episode, it's a big debate of what school he's going to go to. Now, T.I. wants him to go to Morehouse College in Atlanta, pretty much because of the HBCU. He feels like everybody that has went to Morehouse College has graduated and went on to do great things or whatever like that. And Messiah, he's not necessarily sure where he wants to go. He feels like, well, T.I. takes him to his office or whatever and has like a group of people that work with him that have, some went to HBCU, some went to PWIs, which is a predominantly white institution, and they essentially kind of have not a full-blown debate, because we've seen and had those types of debates about HBCU experience versus a PWI experience. And Messiah, his whole thought process is like, from what he can gather from HBCUs, it seems like everybody is, tight knit or whatever, but he don't want people all up in his face all the time. And he feels like that because my dad is T.I. That's great. But at the same time, I feel like people gonna be just trying to be friends with me and talking to me all the time just because that's who my dad is. And it gets tiring to always be on for people. And that's a good thought process to me. Like, what your comfortability gonna be, how you gonna be able to, learn and navigate real friendships if you not quite certain if people messing with you because your dad is T.I. Now, the thing with that is, though, even if you was to be surrounded by white people, you still gonna have that same concern. Don't think that white people don't know who your dad is, because they do. Now, all of them might not, but they do. They know him. But toward the end, he told his dad that he made his decision. He decided to go to Georgia State over Morehouse. And T.I., he didn't go in on him. He was just like, that's great. I'm happy that you, made a decision for yourself and for what you want to do. That was good. Now, mixed up together. So they got this anniversary drama. Now we know they still coming off of this videotape with Tasha, the skanks. And now their anniversary is coming up. Now, T.I. comes over to Tiny's house. And he's talking to the little baby Aries. And he's like, well, I'm going to be, toward the end of the month, I'm going to be in Trinidad. And if you want to come, that's cool. I'll leave a seat for you. And she was just like, for what? He was like, well, if you don't know what it was at the end of the month, then I don't know. Pretty much like, I'm already going on a trip. It's our anniversary, so do you want to come? Like, it wasn't no specialness to it. You know what I'm saying? And she was just like, I'm good. Like, because you put no thought and no effort into it. So he takes the little baby with him. Now, also, what's going on simultaneously is little baby Aries Harris. Now, y'all, I love the name Aries Harris, and I love this name because my dad's side of the family, the last name is Harris. And my cousin, she's from Delaware or whatever. She's married into my family. But all the time when I was younger, she was like, oh, she's so spoiled and blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, you're the heiress. And then she just used to call me my first name, Kobe. She was just like, Kobe the Aries Harris. And I'm just like, I like that. And whenever I found out that that's what they was naming their daughter, I was like, oh, I love that name so much. Anyway, so little Aries has her own nail polish line that Tiny created for her, because she said whenever she used to go to Tiny's mom's house, she would always come back with her nails painted and just be like, oh my God, look at my nails, how pretty my nails. And she was just like, well, if she like her nails being done, let me go ahead and slap my baby name and face on something and make her some nail polish and make her some money for the future. I ain't mad at it. I feel like if your kid is interested in something and it's a way for you to stack up money for your child's future or whatever, and you make them a business person and a mogul while they still a child and a toddler, and when they grow up they already set, by all means go for it and do it. So she was like, she wanted to do a launch party for it, and she was sitting down telling this to Toya, and then Toya was asking her, what was going on with her and Tip. And she was just telling her, like, he invited me on this trip, but it was just, like, ingenuine or disingenuous. Sorry. And she just wasn't really feeling it. So, Toya tells Tiny that she was going to go pull up on T.I. and have a conversation with him. So she sit down and talked to T.I. She asked him about the video, and he was just like, man, you know, it was a mistake. My flesh is weak, whatever. And then she asked him about the trip or whatever, and he was just like, I mean, I told her I was gonna be going. I asked her if she wanted to come, and she was like, no, like, you gotta say, you know, babe, I planned something special for us and all about. He's like, I ain't about to do all of that. And it just goes to show, like, he not willing to put on the sensitivity that his wife want to see to even make it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Toya was right. Like, men be want to be tough so all the time, but like, women, we like to see y'all be mushy every now and again. And that's very true. Like, we want to know that, not necessarily that you got a sensitive side, but we want to know that you have a soft spot for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, as sweet and beautiful as he is with that baby, he need to put some of that energy off into his wife as well. Like, you know, the way he was catering to his daughter was so beautiful. The way he is with his children is so beautiful. And it's just like, you do all of that and you turn around and you act like this with the woman who you married to, who done had half of these children for you, who hold you down through all of the stuff, then been to jail and all other types of crap. And it's just like, I mean, all right. So anyway, flash forward to Eris's nail launch party or whatever, and he, you know, the party is cute, the launch party is cute, it's a success, whatever. He goes to Tiny and says, he asked her about the trip again, and she's just like, I don't know. He says, I've never had this much trouble getting a woman on a private jet. First of all, y'all been married pretty much for your whole career while it's been popping. You see what I'm saying? Not saying your whole career, because you know you had time where you did stuff before you met her. But for your big, where you got real money and real paper in order to even get on a private jet, you've had all that time being married to this woman. Who these other women that you've had to talk to about getting on a private jet? See, like, small things like that and small, like, things that he says like that bother me and get under my skin. And then, of course, she's like, okay, what time? When it's that easy, the respect ain't gonna come. Like, I can't fuck with it. I have no other way to say that. I can't. It wouldn't be me. It won't be me. And I just feel like the whole situation is like extra negative because he is just so manipulative and it's ridiculous. And like, I don't know, it's aggravating to me. He's showing his sons how to be an asshole, and he's showing his daughters that it's okay for you to stick with an asshole. And like, every single scene that I saw him with that little baby, how he was treating that little daughter, I was just like, now when she come home crying and telling you that her boyfriend, her husband, did half of the stuff that you done did to her mama, what you gonna have to say? Oh, baby, that's just what you gotta do. That's just what you gotta stick with. Just you gotta deal with that. That's disgusting, bro. I can't do it. I had the best. To me, I had the best father. I'm saying had like he ain't here. I have the best father, okay? In my opinion. And my dad has never treated me one way but shown me something different in the way he treat my mama. He treat me like I'm gold, platinum, diamond, and he treat my mama the exact same way. Okay? So that's what I expect to see. So when I don't see that from this dude, it just like, you know, and Tiny had her father, so I don't get it. I really don't. But more power to her. And I just want her to, whatever it is gonna make her happy. Because at the end of the day, it's not my marriage. But it wouldn't and couldn't be me. That's all. Anyway, you guys. That was my little baby rant. That was everything that happened in the episode, besides the fact that Tiny was telling him that he wanted to go to church because she had met that pastor at Latoya Luckett house the previous week. And he was just like, nah, he was all down in that as well. So whatever. But thank you guys for watching the video last week. Thank you for your view today. Please give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. It's your girl Sweet Potato, it's Couch Potato, and I will see you guys later.